Okay, I think we're good now.
Are we?
Yeah. Did I just kill the stream? It says we've been live for 2 minutes. Are we live? Hello. There we go. Okay, there we are. Caller, turn your radio down.
I didn't do that this week. So,
Hello, hello,
uh-oh.
hello. Welcome to the Minglewood County State of the Union address.
What a week.
What a week, man. It's been a week. Um, I hope we're doing all right here. We're
I
really,
hope. Are we lagging?
yeah, a little bit.
We're lagging, Daddy. Wagga dagga laggy.
Odie's record says, I got some new records. What did you get?
Yeah, tell us.
What you get?
What you got in that bag, man? Where is Craig?
Hello, Craig.
Senor.
Craig, are you there?
Don't touch that dial.
Some
'Cause
Edison cylinders. There you go.
He what?
Edison came today. Got some Edison cylinders. That was a Bee Gees reference. If you're
Oh,
playing at home. Uh, yeah. Do you
it's
have
over my
Odessa?
head.
Have you ever heard of Odessa?
Yeah, I own it, but I've never listened to it. But I have listened to the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack. But I feel like we've discussed this at length before.
We have. We we
It's
we
just you jive
we,
talking.
we never get I don't know. There's no resolution with this ever with our Bee Gees conversations. I've noticed it just kind of sort of fizzles.
It's always gonna. It fizzles and it comes right back again.
Comes right back again. So, all right,
It's
Steve.
it's just like never mind.
I was gonna say let's
I'm
just
not
do
gonna
it.
say that.
Let's do it. It's time to do it.
What have you been listening to? What have you been listening to, Mark? Tell me.
What have I been listening to? I have been listening to not really too much.
Yeah, me neither.
I was listening to Pink Floyd quite a bit this week. Um, but I sort of one of the last. And I'm going to kind of get this out to the world to um, keep me honest. I am not going to purchase any records or CDs in the month of March. We'll
Ooh.
see how that goes. Bringing it back, just like the old YouTube vinyl challenge, 30-day challenge back in the day. Kevin, Dr. Strangely Strange, actually sent me some packages. He lives in the UK, um, in the Orkney Islands, and I always screw up where he's from, but he lives in a place called Orkney, which is like if you look at the UK, it's like all the way at the top. Like he's like it's like he lives in a place where they have that, like sometimes in the maybe the summer or maybe the winter, I can't remember what it is, where it's like they have daylight for like 20 hours or something like that. Like kind of like how Alaska
Oh,
is.
Alaska.
Yeah,
He lives in Alaska.
he lives in Alaska. He lives in the UK version of Alaska, but it's a coastal. Like it's not. I don't think they get snow. Um, I'm not positive on that. I have a feeling it's something like that. Maybe they do get snow, but they don't get.
I'm even more confused before you started.
Okay. Well, one thing that's interesting about the Orkney Islands is there are no trees on the Orkney Islands because um, they they cut them all down. And since it's an island, they didn't like grow them back, so the whole thing has no trees. Isn't that crazy?
That's weird.
So, but that's my thing. So I'm not gonna buy anything for the month of March. It is Odie's Radio's birthday, March Madness, baby.
Hey, March
Macho
Madness. Oh, happy birthday.
Macho March
Or
Madness.
birthday month.
Yeah. And
Oh,
Steve, you just celebrated your birthday, turning 22 years old.
I did.
Whew, 22, Steve.
Yeah, you may be off on that, sir, by a couple years. So,
So what I've been listening to is I got I can't go a show without talking about Fairport Convention. I have these CDs. I have multiple copies of these. These were the recent remasters that came out in 2003, and they have some juicy, delicious bonus tracks on each one. So yeah, I was thrilled about that. So I've been pretty much listening to these in order. So really the first three for Fairport Convention albums. So
All right,
all
right
prior
on.
to 1969. And you need these three, Steve. You need these three.
Do
Um,
I don't know, man.
I will convince you at some point that you need to
I'll
listen to those.
I'll
And then the other thing I've been listening to is I which I also got on CD, Matthews Southern Comfort. Ian
ooh,
Matthews, who he was in. This is one from Jerry's Records, Five Bones for that one. He was in Fairport Convention in their first three albums, I want to say. He's kind of an interesting dude. I like the sound of his voice, but I don't really like his like later stuff. Not really like too much of a fan of that. But he did a cover of Woodstock, like the Joni Mitchell Woodstock song, and it was a
yeah.
single. So like I think his version charted better than Joni Mitchell's version, but he was really uh,
Blasphemy.
yeah, yeah. So well, but the thing is, the interesting part that he kind of added to Fairport Convention was he was sort of the one of the
Bagpipes.
did not play bagpipes. He was really focused on um, like singer songwriter kind of stuff. Like he was really influenced by a lot of American kind of singer songwriter stuff. So um, he sang a lot of Bob Dylan songs with Fairport Convention. And he does like he did like Suzanne, and he does Morning Glory, the Tim Buckley song. Um,
Yeah.
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 So when he left the band, that was sort of why, was because they were sort of going in their own, like, we want to write our own songs kind of direction. So you know how every band sort of has that little story, like we don't want to do
Sure.
covers anymore.
Creative
We
differences.
want to write our own songs. Yeah, and he was like, all right, screw you guys, I'm going solo, and that was that. Um, so he put that album out in '69, and then he did this is the second album, which is called Second Spring, and then he did another album
Okay.
the same year in 1970 called or yeah, 1970 was called Later That Summer, and then he broke up the band. So he was kind of, it was weird. It was like he kind of like liked to hit the self-destruct button. So that's why his career has kind of been interesting to me. So that's what I've been
Mhm.
listening to. How about you, Steve?
Okay.
What do you got?
Well, I'm going to start off with something. Fairport Convention. Your Fairport Convention to my ACDC. I've been listening to Fly on the Wall. Are you familiar with this album
I
of
am. I
ours?
am. I had that album back in the day.
Really?
Yep. I bought a whole bunch
Do
of.
you like this record?
No, I don't have it anymore. But um, what
Okay.
are the hits
This
on
is
that one?
my favorite. Well, they're not really hit. I mean, Shake Your Foundation, Sink the Pink, which were our popular songs, I guess, off of this. But this is my favorite Brian Johnson era ACDC album. I absolutely
Okay.
love this record. It's a lot of fun. I first got that. I think we were on a road trip and we were somewhere in Kansas. And we stopped off, and there was a record store, and I bought that on CD. This was like in the mid '90s, and listened to it the whole way there.
Very nice.
The other thing, you kind of like, not that I need any prompting to listen to these bands, but you kind of like inspired me, should I say, to go back and play Eat a Peach
Oh,
again.
okay. All right. All right.
And I tell you what about this. Phil Fillmore is one of my favorite records of all time. You know, we always talk about that, but that's an easy top five for me ever. But this, I think, is the best representation of the band because you get the live stuff and you get the studio stuff. You know, you've got jazz, you've got rock, you've got country, you've got soul, you've got everything that the Allman Brothers encompassed. You get it on one record, two record set.
Hmm.
But this is just, man, this is just about perfect, isn't it?
Yeah. No, I mean, I've been listening to that too. I did. I think I didn't mention this, but I know that I told you about it. I got the
Mm.
um, this there was a seller on eBay that had he's a big Allman Brothers fan, and I bought this show off of him, which I've been sort of hunting for a while, which is the Post Gazette Pavilion, July 26, 2003, which I went to that show. Um, I don't have the ticket stub because that was like when they started doing like the print your ticket kind of
But
thing,
yeah,
and
and you get
so
yeah.
that was probably left in a pocket somewhere and went through the washer.
Sure.
And then so then there was this one which I had asked him, hey, do you have any other ones? And he was like, yeah. And so this one is September 5th of 2004. And like I remember this, man. I remember the whole day. And it was a Sunday before Memorial Day or Labor Day, I'm sorry. And my dad and I set up at the flea market and I sold some records, and then in the evening I went to go see the Allman Brothers. And
Not a
it's a
bad
great
day.
show, and there's a really good version of Mountain Jam on there. Which again, it's like what, 28 minutes. I mean, you can put that on, and you got to run some errands and just make sure you're back before lunch is over for work. It's like I got to make sure I'm back before Mountain Jam's over.
There's a there's a radio DJ here. His name is, well, I won't give away his real name. I'll tell you his radio name. His radio name is Weird Beard. I know, not
Yeah,
very original, but
yeah,
he and I have kind of corresponded a little bit, and he told me that he saw them. I want to say here, or maybe it was in Clemson. I know they played in Clemson in '71 because I've got a bootleg of that show, and he said that he fell asleep during Mountain Jam and woke up in the middle of it, and they were still playing Mountain Jam. So there's quite a lengthy tune. But the last, actually, to talk about a couple more things real quick. This is something that you and I did a bootleg episode, and that's primarily what I listened to by this band. But I heard the live version of Stairway to Heaven, and I was like, it's been a while since I've listened to this, so I really need to go back and rediscover it. It's Led Zeppelin's How the West Was Won. This is so good and so great and so just captures them, I think, at their collective peak. In '72, they were touring on. Led Zeppelin 4 was released in November. These were recorded, I believe, let me look before I tell you wrong. I want to say in June or July. Somebody will probably correct me and tell me how terrible I am and how you need to get a new host. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. The 25th of June and the 27th. So there you go. But they're playing tunes off of Houses of the Holy as well. So this is kind of like, in between point. Yeah. Right. And they're so hot and they're so good and they're just such a tight band with that. And I remember I bought this and the DVD on the same day. I remember as clear as day, I got out of school and immediately went there and picked both of those up. And, listening to this kind of reminds me of, it's gone 20 years now.
yeah.
But it's kind of like, that's our version of Led Zeppelin, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And, older generation has, the actual studio albums, but that's kind of like, I remember clear as day getting that, and just that whole summer was just, listening to those 3-4 discs just back to back to back to back. And just the excitement that was building around those, Mojo Magazine was hyping those up. You'd hear it on classic rock radio. It's kind of like, oh, that was, Black Dog. And hey, that's going to be a live version of that's going to be on How the West Was Won, released on, this date. And just all the hype that was kind of surrounding it was just kind of really surreal and really great at that time. And both that and the DVD, are just so good, so essential.
Well, I think it's interesting because if we think about that time now, it doesn't really seem that way because it's like, there's always something that's kind of like coming out. But like, I feel like at that time there was a couple of box sets, right? So there was that one that I think was like the Four Symbols sort of box set, right? There was like
right.
It was kind of like, or there was like the field. Was that what
the crop circles?
The crop circles, yeah. So
there was like crop circle.
So there was like that box set. And then they did the same thing that the Doors did, where there was like that. It was like a gray box that was all the studio albums, like as the mini LP sleeve kind of things. You remember that?
Yeah, but you also had the second box set, which I don't know if you were going to say
like
that
the long, like the black, wasn't it like almost like the best of the box or something like that, right? Wasn't that what it was?
Well, that you had the box set that was the 4 disc, and then all the songs that weren't on that they released as like the second box set or something like that.
Okay.
So those are, and those are a lot of fun too. Those are very well sequenced, and that was a band that like you were saying, I think you were going down this direction that, having bonus tracks and kind of concerts released from the proverbial vault, that's commonplace now. That's
Yeah.
kind of like, oh, well, this is a show from 1970 something that's coming out.
Hmm.
That's all commonplace. But Led Zeppelin, they had such a tight lock on that stuff that
Hmm.
outside of Traveling Riverside Blues and maybe with Baby Come On Home that was on the second box set, that was really the only kind of vault stuff that was ever released by them. So, to have a legitimate release, because you had BBC sessions and Song Remains the Same, which I think is a good live record. I think that people kind of harp on that a little too hard.
Hmm.
But there wasn't a release like that. And to have a DVD and a CD set on the same day release was just I mean, magic to sound corny, but
Yeah.
it really was.
But it's weird to think about that. There's only the song remain the same is really sort of that only live album in their catalog, right? And that
Yeah.
came out in what, 78, right?
77, 78, something like that.
Yeah. So you even think about, okay, the passage of time from that 20 years to get to where How the West Was Won. But you're right. Like, I mean, that it's it's phenomenal. I mean, it's probably one of the best
Yeah,
sounding, one of the best sounding albums that they have.
absolutely.
It's in its hands and feet above bootlegs just because it has, just the quality is just so good. But you kind of wish that there was more. You know what I mean? Like they really
Oh,
had.
I wish
You're
they
right.
would do a vault series like the Dead or the Allman Brothers.
Yeah.
That they would do, volume one through whatever. I really wish they would do something like that. So we'll just have to see.
Oldies Radio
And the
said that.
last thing,
Oh, real quick, it said first Led Zeppelin
yeah,
album got when 2008 was Song Remains the Same. So, oh, and Bo's on. Hey,
perfect.
Bo. Greeting
What's
from
up,
the
Bo?
Lacey Post Office.
And the last thing I know, you say that Sam's been listening to this. So is Leslie. The new Adele record, which is just phenomenal. I mean, that is that. I know it's March, but
Hmm.
that is a album of the year candidate for me already. That is good stuff. I know that's. I don't know. Are you a fan of that kind of?
No, I mean I
I
really
mean, I know
can't.
you.
It's one of those things that like I feel like the music is just sort of innocuous. You know what I mean? Like it's just sort of like I don't mean to sound like an uppity up, but like I mean it's just pop music. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it's the sound of now, and it's what's popular. Excuse me.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, I mean, we kind of did the same thing. I don't know if are you a fan of Casey Musgrave's Golden Hour? Have you listened to that album before?
No.
I mean, that came out, you know, 4 or 5 years ago at this point, but it's kind of the same thing. It's just like you can't say anything bad about it. It's just like yeah, like it's just like it's feel good music, and it's not like I don't know. I think you and I listen to music that's like so challenging all the time for the most part, right? Like we usually like to challenge ourselves, so it's not like
Oh yeah, oh
we,
yeah.
you and I
It's
listen to a
it's
lot of music that we just can't just say like, all right, we're just gonna put this on for mixed company,
I'm
and
gonna
like
listen to Sun Ra
yeah,
and
yeah.
just kind of sit back.
This is
So
Van
yeah, no,
Morrison's Astral Weeks. Everybody enjoy this. You breathe in, you breathe out, you breathe
Captain
in,
what
you
safe
breathe.
as milk.
Abba Zaba. Yeah. So yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of what I've been digging lately, and just enjoying it. But you got anything else, or you want to go ahead and jump
No,
into
let's do it. Let's
Pink
talk
Pink
about
Floyd?
let's talk about Pink Floyd. I'm gonna let's go
Can
out.
I give a couple?
Yeah, let's go out to the Facebook page, and I just wanted to look and see what some people put on there. Um,
While you do that, can I? Well, okay, I'll wait because I've got two honorable mentions I want to talk before I get to my official list, and I know we have 12, but if I did, I would be remiss if I didn't mention these two songs.
all right. How do you want to do this?
I figured I'll give my number 12, and then you give me your number 12, and we'll go back and forth, and
Okay.
uh,
All right.
we'll do that.
Sounds good. And then
Sound
if we have
all right?
albums that are or songs that are the same, songs that remain the same,
Oh,
we'll
look at that!
we'll do that. Um, why are you showing me all kinds of old stuff from the Minglewood page? Um, there's the Minglewood page, ladies and gentlemen. Do, 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 do. This is what happens when you're not prepared and you say you want to do something that you probably shouldn't have done or at least prepared for. Hey, what today
Dun,
it
dun.
is the 49th anniversary of the Dark Side of the Moon release. We want to talk about that for a second, right?
So there we go. 49 years, Dark Side of the Moon is released. And hey, what better way to do this? And this was certainly not planned.
No,
I
it
just
wasn't.
happened to popped up, and I said, "Mark, this is perfect. We got to do it. It was meant to be." I think I read a article one time that said something insane like every 10 seconds somebody in the world is putting on Dark Side of the Moon.
It's got to
Like
be more. It's got to be more than every 10 seconds. I
it's
mean, the album's
something
only
like
like
that
40
where it
minutes
was
long, right? So like,
yeah no
so it's only
but I'm
oh,
saying like every 10 seconds somebody around the world is putting that record on. Like that's insane.
I feel like it's got to be more than that. Like that album, like we talked about like Bob Marley's greatest hits. Like everybody has that album. Like it's got to be
Yeah.
between that or that. That
I mean
yeah.
it may be 5 seconds, but you know.
I'm just gonna call out. I'm just gonna call out Chris Dixieland Farm. No S at the end, not plural. Dixieland Farm. Said he didn't need a week because we said, hey, we'll meet you back next week. And he said, bike, one of these days, fearless, money, us and them, have a cigar, Vera, mother. So, pretty much what are you looking at there? 3 or 4 albums? We got, so bike is Piper. One of these days is metal, right?
Right.
Right. Fearless,
It
also
is
metal, right?
metal.
Yep. Money, us and them, Dark Side, have a cigar. Oh wait, I'm sorry. Yeah, Money and Us
The
and Them, Dark Side, Have a Cigar is Wish You Were Here, and then
wish you were
Vera
here, yeah.
Mother from The Wall. So
The wall.
good old Chris's picks there. Um, Andy, I think that's you. Is that you, Oldies Radio? Is Andy? Are we gonna call you by name? Craig said, excellent
I
topic.
call your
Your
name.
name. Our good friend Wes said, "The Trial, Welcome to the Machine, and any 8 tracks from the Division Bell." I don't think I have anything from the. Oh, my real name. Oh, spoilers. Yep. Um, nope,
What
made the connection.
what did older radios say? What did
Oldies
older
Radio
oldies?
said
I think he had some real good ones on there that I was like, yeah. So I was really impressed with his
Power of Talk
list.
with a lull, and then there was On the Run, Careful with That Axe, Eugene, Learning to Fly, Us and Them, Remembering a Day, and Flaming. So you like the old stuff, basically, for the most part. The Saucer Full of Secret stuff and Piper stuff. And then like,
Very cool.
yeah, I've been uncovered. I've been
Been
found out.
covered.
You've been discovered. So, all right, Steve, let's hear it. What do you got? So, do you want to save the honorable mentions for the end, or do you want to do that now?
Ooh, we are lagging bad.
Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. Did you want to
Well, you
save
tell
the
me. What do
honorable
you want to do?
mentions? Do you want to save the honorable mentions for the end, or do you want to just start with number 12?
6 and 1. You tell me. What do you want to do?
Doesn't matter.
I don't care either. I'm
All right,
letting
let's
you
go.
decide.
Number 12. Let's hear it. What's your number 12 pick?
Number 12. This is an area of Pink Floyd I think is often overlooked and forgotten, and I wanted one song for this period era stylistic choice maybe and it's David Gilmour and it's acoustic guitar, and the tune is Green is the Color.
Oh, wow. Okay. I wasn't
So
wasn't ex- was not expecting
really
that.
really like this song. It's beautiful. It's got I just read about it because Nick Mason's wife, the 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 thing on it. There's beautiful colors. It's
Dude,
great.
all right, hold on a second. We're lagging pretty bad here. So, um let me see. Should I maybe kill the stream and then What do
No.
you think I should do?
Will that work? Will that help?
I don't know if like
You
rebooting
want
would
to
help
just
or anything like that. Um,
now let's just roll. If it gets that bad, we'll just edit it in post.
there's no editing, no editing. We'll just roll with it. Um,
Live.
live
So,
without
but
a
yes,
mess.
green is a color.
Green is the color. What album is
You a
that on
fan of
again?
it?
Remind me what album that's on. Is that on More?
It's on the soundtrack of More.
Okay,
More. The
that,
soundtrack. Yeah.
that's what I said. Yeah, sorry, it's lagging like a mother. Um, all right, my number 12 is I said Dogs from Animals.
Dogs.
Yeah. What?
You got to be trusted by the people that you lied to.
Well, it's weird because, and again, um, maybe the emotional state of the week might have might have steered my picks in a certain direction. So again, this is this moment in time right now. These are my my favorite picks.
Card subject to change.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, but you know what? That top five, that top six, I think is probably gonna be the same. But these lower reacher ones, like especially Dogs, like I was like, you know what? I'm really feeling Dogs today. Like I think it's a long song, but it's very Pink Floyd, right? Like it's just the
Oh
way
yeah.
that just the guitar parts and everything like that. He wants the Ron Geeson and Roger Waters music from the body. That's a terrible album. It's not that good. I can tell you that right now. And even Ron Geeson solo stuff, I've had some of that as well too. Um, it's really for curiosity's sake only. Um, it's probably something you listen to one time and be like, yeah, I don't need to listen to that for a couple of years. So
Okay, that's enough of that.
yeah, exactly. Um, so what do you got for number 11? Are we lagging that bad? What do you have for number 11? 11. These go to 11.
Oh,
These go to 11.
number 11. This song comes off. It would be great because you see your veins. Gosh, we are lagging. Are we
Yeah,
good? Are we? Everybody good? Is everybody in? The
it's
lagging is only
it's
just about to begin.
it's gonna be as good as it gets, dude.
Fearless.
That's what you got for number 11. Well, I have that for number 10.
11.
I had that for number 10.
Look at that.
So I think we did pretty good. Not to jump ahead. I think it's somewhat underrated. Uh,
It is.
I think it's it's not one that people are like, yeah, this is a Pink Floyd, whatever. But I know that you and I have talked at length about that tune and just how the sort of the football, was it "You Never Walk Alone" at the very end they're singing, I think is what it is.
Right.
Um,
Right.
it just fits so perfectly, and it's just strange how it all comes together. But um, yeah,
It's very Pink Floydian.
right, exactly. Um, for number 11, I went with "Gold." It's in the hills, or the gold. It's what it's whatever that song is off of "Obscured by
Oh.
Cloud." So yeah,
All right.
I went way far out for that one. Yeah, "Gold." It's in the
All right.
um, and I'm just gonna
Come
give.
on, my friend. Let's head to the
And
hills.
we talked that was like Pink Floyd, like the closest they ever got to Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. So it's just even the guitar solo. It's just like very Neil Young esque, where it's just here's
Oh yeah.
one or two notes and all that. So um, yeah. So number 10 is Fearless for me. We already said that. So what do you got for number 10?
Number 10. Shine on, you crazy diamond.
Whoa!
I'm,
Ooh. Well, I'm not
it's
even
a good song. I just like 9 other ones better.
okay.
So
All right.
that is that lick, that dum 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 dum. Ooh, that is just
Yep.
absolutely phenomenal. That is just such a just I mean, if that song alone, I think really, if somebody's like, I've never heard Pink Floyd, it's like, all right, here's Shine On You Crazy Diamond.
Yep.
There you go. If you like this, you'll love them. If you don't, then I don't know what to tell you. That to me encompasses and houses everything I love about Pink Floyd.
Yeah. And I think that, like I said, I've never seen Pink Floyd, right? Obviously, I think
Right.
I don't know really anybody that's kind of seen them live. I take that back. I've seen some people, or I know some people that saw them like in '79 when they came to Three Rivers, but not that many people have seen them, right? They're not a band that people are just like, like Grateful Dead. I saw them here, I saw them here, I saw them here. Usually not the case for Pink Floyd. I did see Brit Floyd twice, which um, was amazing. It was absolutely amazing, and it's kind of one of those things where
Yep.
you got to think about it sort of as a theatrical kind of thing, right? Like we saw them in a lot of the places where they would
Mm-hmm.
do like plays and the uh, what is the word that I want to use for that? Just the theater, the theater area of Pittsburgh. There's three or four theaters, the opera's in one, again, and then you have the other ones for the ballet stuff and things like that. And it was the perfect venue to see Brit Floyd. If you have the opportunity to see them, go and see them. And I think it was visual as well as an audio sort of thing. And to me, it was like if you closed your eyes and you listened, you thought you were listening to the album. You know what I mean? It was like that good, like that
Wow.
spot on.
Very cool.
So yeah, they're definitely worth seeing. So, Oldies Radio put a comment here. When that eclipse happened in 2017, everyone was playing Dark Side of the Moon. I was playing Obscured by Clouds. I was at work. I was at work when that was happening because I remember people were going outside, and that's funny.
Some people looked up with no sunglasses on.
Yeah. Well, you wasn't in South Carolina, didn't they? Like, wasn't like a
Oh,
full
oh yeah,
eclipse?
they had.
Yeah, you had like a full eclipse,
Oh
right?
yeah, oh
Yeah.
yeah. So like yeah, they had the. You could go to the baseball stadium, but it was all sold out. Like they've got the Fireflies, like the minor league baseball stadium, and people were laying out in center field and looking up. But like where we live, it was really wild because we both had our glasses on, and right before the eclipse happened, like it right when it happened, all the birds just stopped, and it was just eerily silent.
Wow. That's
And
pretty
like
strange.
for that, and like for that split second, I was kind of like, all right, this is how we check out as a species. And then everything was cool again. But yes, I did have Dark Side of the Moon playing. Why that happened? Like, literally, like when I got home, I was kind of like, I was thumbing through there. I was like, all right, we're gonna put this on. And I want to say Time was playing when all that happened. So I was kind of like, hey, this is good stuff. So
Oldies
that's
Radio
cool.
said we got it big where they're at. Um, Bill Nye actually came out and went, "Hey, Chris is on. Hey,
Oh,
Chris,
very cool.
we were just talking." He said, "There's
Dixieland Farm.
no S. It's not plural. Yeah, there's no Dark Side of the Moon. In fact, it's all dark. Yeah. But I think in I want to say it's like 2025 or 2026. The next time there's the kind of the big eclipse, it's actually going to go the other way. So it like went, I don't know, like it went diagonal down. It's going to go diagonal up, and so next time it'll go right across Pittsburgh. So looking forward to that.
And then in 2030, they're going to have another one. It's just going to go. That's a dumb joke. Okay, so number
Yeah, let's
number 9.
let's not just joke about the the creeping impending doom of the slow ticking of life, right? So, did you play Dark Side of the Moon while watching
Every
Wizard of
year is
Oz?
getting.
Yeah, every year is getting
Yes.
shorter, for sure.
And one day closer to death.
That's right. Um,
Yes, I have done that. It's how did they find that out? I don't know. I have a theory on that. I think the band leaked it.
oh, really?
I think Yeah, I do. I think somebody in their camp. I hate using that term, but
Hmm.
do I think that is just a big coincidence? No, I think that was deliberate. I think it's completely deliberate. I think it's just that's way too perfect. The
But
third
that's
Lion's Roar. Go ahead and start the album.
Yeah, but it's like, but like, why that? Like, why not just start it when it starts, right? Why would you wait until the? I don't know. It just that seems kind of
I don't know
strange to
because Star Wars wasn't out at the time, and it's like, all right, we'll do that.
me. One time, a friend of mine, we were watching Dark Side of the Moon, well, listening to Dark Side of the Moon and watching Wizard of Oz, and when the CD was over, they had like a multi-disc changer, and it went right into the wall. And like, man, was that weird. So that was like, and then we are like, okay, let's turn this off, so of course we make it 40 or 50 minutes in or whatever, and then it's like, the wall starts. It's like, okay, that's enough of this. Yeah, so okay, we're up to number 9. What do you got for number 9, Steve? Number 9.
Number 9, I wanted to represent this era, and so I went with my favorite tune of it. It's "See Emily Play."
See Emily Play. Okay, I did not. That's not on my list. But
Really?
not on my list. I just wasn't feeling that right now. I wasn't feeling that early Floyd. But I did for my number 9. I also went with one that's actually pretty close to that era. I went with "Set the Controls for the Heart of the Sun." So
Ooh, that's a good one.
yeah,
That's
uh,
a good one.
we'll say that's the Ummagumma version of that, right? I think that was, or no. Was that on Ummagumma? No,
No, that was on Saucer
that's on
Full of
Saucer. That's
Secrets.
right.
Boy.
Saucer full of secrets is on Amagawa. That's what it is. Okay. What do you got for number 8?
Did you? 8. Dogs.
You got dogs for 8. Okay.
The
All right. Okay.
dog. Yeah,
Okay. All right. All right. Look at us, man.
dogs, man.
So
Yeah,
we're
I
so out of 5, we're 2 for 5 right now, right? We both got dogs and
no.
fearless. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, Fearless. Yeah, yeah, that's right. Yeah,
We're 2 for 5. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. My number 8, I
I have a
have.
feeling
Okay. This might be where we start splitting apart, or what? What are you thinking?
no. I think this is where we become even more
Okay.
entwined.
Okay.
So
All right. Number 8, I said "Nobody Home" is the one that Doggos. That's what I had for number 8. There'll be nobody home. I
okay,
love
I was wrong.
I love that song. Well, again, I listened to The Wall a lot this week. But yeah, I'm a big fan of that one. I like that one. Did that make your list?
Um, no, I am not a fan of The Wall.
I know you're not. I was just curious to
Hot
see.
take.
Hot take. Okay. All right. What do you got for number 7?
Yep.
Number 7.
The song we just talked about, Time.
You got time for 7? Okay.
Oh, did I lose you?
Yeah, I mean, it's just delayed. So our jokes are just not going to be as snappy because it's going to be a little slow. That's all. Um, so you got time for number.
A little slow. So yeah,
Yeah,
Time.
I have for number 7. I got "Mother" was the one that I did. Another one from The Wall.
Mother, you take a little boy time.
I had the "Mother, Should I Trust the Government" poster. I had that back in the day. Did you have that one?
I
Did you
had
did you sell it at the
I
record
had
store?
we did, but I'm pretty sure it's in the garage now. But I had a "Wish You Were Here" poster.
Okay. Uh, what do you have for number 6, Steve?
A song that you mentioned already. Set the controls for the heart of the
Oh
sun.
man. Oh wow. Is it just like it's just too easy, or is it just too easy, or is it like
No, it's just that they're really good songs. Like that's
okay?
that's that's amazing. And you could kind of take either the studio version, which is perfect, or you could take the Pompeii version, which is perfecter. So
More perfecter. Um, for number six, I did one that was a little out there. I don't know if this will be on your list, but Childhood's End. You dig that one?
Okay. I very much so. That's a really great song.
Is that on your list?
Maybe, maybe not. You're just gonna have to wait and see, sir.
All right.
My pen's running out of
Okay.
ink
It's all
right
right.
now.
What do you got for number five?
But number five.
Or wait. Did you did your six? Yeah. Second, set the controls.
Did I?
Yeah. What was your number five?
Yes, yes. Number five. This actually used to be my number one for a good long while, for a hot minute, but it is not anymore because I think four songs are better than it. But the song in question is "Us and Them."
Oh, okay. All right. All right. That didn't make my list. I had it on my list, and then I just sort of like it dropped because I was kind of like,
Senor Ditch.
uh, yeah.
But nobody home. Okay.
Yeah, well,
Okay. All
you
right.
know, so I had it in my so would you believe I did have that in my number five? I did have that. I can maybe show you here. It was in my number five, and then I crossed it out, right? And then I started like putting other things in there, and then I just forgot to put it back on the list. Is what happened. If you really want to know what happened, so that'll go in my
Okay.
honorable mentions, right? Um, because I forgot to.
All right.
Yeah, I'll be on, but that would have been we both would have had that for number five. I for number five I thought "Speak to Me, Breathe" was I was feeling that one a little bit more at the time, and I was like, yeah, that's.
Okay.
I
All
felt
right.
like you know what I mean because you put on Dark Side of the Moon, and that's the first thing that comes out of your stereo. It's just it sets the tone, you know. So that's what I got for five.
Breathe in the air.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, here we go. Number four, Steve.
Number four. Sheep.
You got Sheep for number four? I didn't. I don't.
How do you not love that guitar lick, man? That
Yeah.
ending coda is fantastic.
Yeah, it
Good
is.
stuff, man.
It is. Um,
I'm a
it's just
big
too
fan of
hard. This is
animals.
just too hard to do. I think it's. I think emotionally, you're. You know, I think you get emotionally invested in Pink Floyd, and then you kind of choose other things. Um, I went with Welcome. I went to Welcome to the Machine. Was my number four. Welcome, my
Okay.
son.
All
Welcome to
right.
the machine. And just for the sake of my first record that I got, Pink Floyd record, was "Wish You Were Here." So I sort of have an affinity for that. You know, I've listened to that
That's a good one to start on.
way more than others. I got it on vinyl. I got it at a yard sale. A guy had it. I think he said 50 cents. And like this was at a time when like this was probably like 1997 or 8. Like this is really before I really seriously started collecting records. And like that was like when records were like a quarter at yard. You know what I mean? Like people didn't charge more than like a buck for a record. You know what I mean? Like it just didn't happen. So I got it for a quarter. I still have it. So it's an 80s pressing, but it's super clean. So has a barcode on it.
Yeah.
Number three, Steve.
Ooh, number three. This is a song that you just asked me if it was on my list, and surprise, it is.
Childhood's End.
Childhood's End.
Oh
Yes, I
wow.
love that. That's what. That
Wow.
is just such a great song. You know, when we first started talking about doing a show, I think 2 years ago. It's you know, we were talking about Pink Floyd album I got. In their catalog, and I never really paid too much attention to it. But I want to say about 2 years ago, I just started listening to that record and really liking everything on it. That's a really solid album.
Hmm.
It's kind of hit or miss. It's more of a miss for me, but Obscured by Clouds, I think it's fantastic. And the thing I love about Childhood's End, it's almost like starts just like time a little
Hmm.
bit.
It does, right?
You know, it's so
Well, there's
I
like
just
what?
think
It's
there's a
almost like a 2 minute intro to it, and then it just like is like very visceral at that point after that once the
right.
lyrics start coming. Have you seen the new video that they did for that? Have you seen that?
Yeah, I didn't. I saw it when I was kind of looking around,
Yeah,
kind of getting the background of these songs and whatnot. I did not watch it though, but I
check
saw
check
the
it out.
video. If that makes
Yeah.
sense, and I did. Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, again, it's maybe trigger trigger warnings for anybody that might be sensitive to those kind of things, but it's pretty intense. It's pretty, yeah, it's pretty crazy.
yeah.
Uh,
Well, it's a deep song, believe it or not.
Number three is one that we already mentioned for me. This was your number seven, Time, for me.
Ah,
Yeah.
now let me ask you something. Do you think these lyrics are corny, or do you think they're thought provoking and introspective?
I mean, that's what Pink Floyd's all about. It's about being moody and like they're a headphone band. Like you just put your headphones on and like you don't really
Yeah.
enjoy. I mean, Dark Side of the Moon. I think the reason why it's as popular as it is because it's an album that you can enjoy with other people. Like you can just sit around, you know, burn some incense and listen to that album, right? Um,
Among other things.
yeah, I mean, maybe Wish You Were Here too. I'd say that's maybe a close second to that. But the other
Yeah.
albums, like you just listen to, and I mean, you don't put The Wall on and say, "Hey, let's listen to The Wall." Like, who does that, right? A zone
Or
out.
animals for that
Yeah,
matter, you
well,
know?
let's listen. Hey, you want to listen to
Yeah.
Animals? Yeah, let's put Animals on. Um, so I think that's sort of the beauty. I think that's sort of the beauty of Pink Floyd, where it allows you to sort of be isolated, and and again, that might be why you don't like The Wall. But for me, it's like when I discovered The Wall, I just listened to it nonstop. I mean, I would just I would I would listen to the first CD and then put the second one in, and then put the first CD in and the second one. And I wasn't like somebody that would just listen to that whole first CD over and over and over and over again. And now, now that you can, basically just put it all on, your phone or whatever and just listen to it straight through. Um, I think it even changes the album even more than it did, where at least you can kind of like you can sort of feel
Okay.
this, you can feel the sides, like as far as like the vinyl. You kind of know where that like, okay, this is the first half of this, you know what I mean? Like, sort of that, the Bring the Boys Back Home and Vera and, that kind of, that sort of you know, third part three of the Wall. Um, it's interesting. I mean, and I don't know. I've always been drawn to it. I know that you like what don't you like about the Wall? That's really just me. Is it feel too pretentious? Is that sort of what you feel, or
It's too bloated. It's too pretentious. I think it would have made a great single album. I know I am completely probably driving some people absolutely bonkers, and that expression tells me that
yeah,
I'm right on the money with that.
I couldn't tell you what you could cut out of that.
There's just now. I mean, there's songs I like on it. Like One of My Turns, I think is really great. Goodbye Blue Sky, Mother, I think are great. But
Comfortably
I mean, to
numbered.
me, that
You like that, or is that
yeah, of
is that just
course,
overplayed?
of course, no, I like that song. You Run Like Hell is great. That's another got a great another. That's a great. That's a another fantastic David Gilmour lick. But I the album just hasn't resonated with me like the other albums. Believe me, I've tried,
Hmm.
and people say, oh, "What do you like better, Dark Side or the Wall?" Dark Side, 100%. I think
Hmm.
that's a more cohesive album. I just I don't know. I find the Wall just is an undertaking that I'm not willing to invest the time in. I guess
Okay.
so.
And I mean, that's I think that's a fair response. I mean, it can definitely be a difficult album. And I think really you can hear too. I think that's one of the reasons why that they sort of broke up, was just that, you know what I mean. They just didn't have it in them to carry on or anything like that. So no, that's fair. I think it's a tough album. I don't think it's the easiest album in their catalog by any means. So um, shall we move on?
We shall. So
We're at number two,
did you
right?
get number two?
What
You
you
ready? You want me to go?
what you got, Steve?
So this is something that you already mentioned, and what a way to kick off an album, and everything that's going on in the background of the song, I think, is just absolutely amazing. The song is "Breathe."
Okay.
So
I had that for what, number
I
five?
just
Ooh.
number 5.
Yeah. Okay. So should I guess what your number one is, or I'm gonna give you my number two first, which was um, I think we're sort of a little flip
Yeah,
flop here, but my number two is gonna be "Wish You Were Here." I think that goes without saying, right? Yeah.
your number 2 is "Wish You Were Here." Okay,
That's my number two.
okay.
But I believe that's your number one. Is that your number one?
What?
Wish You Were Here.
What?
Wish You Were Here. Is that your number
Absolutely
one?
not.
No. What's your number one?
Nope.
What you got?
Guess. Guess.
Corporal Clegg.
I want you to guess. No. My number one
Grantchester
is
Meadows.
uh,
Learning to Fly.
several small species and his echoes.
Okay. All right. Okay. I mean, it's tough, man. It's tough to do 12 songs.
Which,
It's tough.
yeah,
That was tough. Number one
which,
is my Shine On parts 1 through 5 is what I got for that.
okay.
So if I'm looking at this
Wow.
correct, if I'm looking at this correct, we in our top 12 we both had Shine On.
So Echoes never even made your top 12. Wow, that's surprising. I thought our number one would match. Wow. Okay.
At
Are
this
you not
at
a fan
this
of
time,
Echoes?
man, at this if we do we need to do this once every 6 months. We need to do this once every 6 months and reevaluate
Fair enough.
reevaluate our list. And
Fair enough.
Trevor said animals always has a way of somehow relating to what's going on in the world. Agreed.
Yeah. Amen.
It's I mean it's Steve. It's just too tough. It's too tough to pick. It's too tough to pick 12 Pink Floyd songs. Are you kidding me? That's like a single disc best of.
Yeah.
Yes, you know what I mean? Like that's what you and I just did. And yeah, that's tough. Yeah, no, Echoes. I love Echoes. I love the Echoes from Pompeii is amazing. It's fantastic. It's like
Yeah.
it's too good. I will add my honorable mention was the Adam Hart Mother live from Montreux. You know that now that's been officially released. So I
Okay.
figured I would sneak that one in there, just because I've probably listened to that about maybe 500 times since I've had. That's probably the one Pink Floyd song that I've listened to the most, like post being 22 years old. What's on your honorable mentions?
So I've got two of them, and I thought one of these songs would be on your list. I thought One of These Days would make your list. I really did. But One of These Days is amazing. It's great. I love it. And the other one, this one really, I went back and forth with this and Green is the Color, and I finally said, all right, Green is the Color is it. But the song is Remember a Day. I absolutely love that song. Yeah. Rick Wright is probably my favorite vocalist in Pink Floyd. And really it came down to, I've got some of these atmospheric psychedelic songs. Let me get a little acoustic action in here. And so that's why I went with Green as a Color. But Remember a Day is like, it's not 13, it's like 12 and a half.
I will say that you and I went 7 out of 12 for guessing, putting the same 12 songs within the top 12. So
okay.
I feel that's pretty good. What's the percent on that? Let's do the math.
Let's do the math.
That's 58%. That's pretty good. that's
considering you and I had no knowledge of what we could guess, but neither one of us sat there and was saying, okay, well, what's on your list? What'd you put for here? And it's funny that what I think is most intriguing about this is that we both, childhood's end made our list. It kind of, I don't want to say, that is I mean, that is the definition of an album cut. Like
Mm-hmm.
you look at Shine On and Time, things like that. Like those are all radio songs, right? Like we've heard those on the radio. I actually heard Childhood's End on the radio one time. Uh, but my point is that those are uh, not a whole lot of album cuts,
Mm-hmm.
like deep cuts, and that's what I think is so interesting about Childhood Ends, that you and I both decided to go with that one. So,
Yeah,
and rightfully so. It's a great tune.
for sure. I want to just Mark Neely commented and said, "I know Piper is the hip pick, but it's hard to deny the brilliance of the Sid pop songs all the way through, with no weak tracks. Album is one of their best overall." Um, Mark, Steve and I did a well in the vault podcast where we were only doing podcasts where we were just talking and not showing our beautiful mugs. And we talked about that first era of Pink Floyd, everything up into Dark Side of the Moon, everything prior to Dark Side of the Moon. And yeah, it was, we really, I think we've, Steve, I know you're frozen. I'll wait till you're on. There you are. You're unfrozen now. I would be willing to bet if I would listen to that.
Okay.
Okay, there you are. I would be willing to bet that if I listen to that podcast now, I have forgotten more than I've remembered from what we talked about. But we
Yeah.
definitely did a deep dive. So maybe I can just post just the audio on YouTube, and just as a bonus, you guys can kind of listen to that if you want to or not. It doesn't really matter, but it's
Yeah.
it's Mark and Steve in the vault from about 2 years ago. I think there was two mistakes in there that I have to edit out that we talked about, but just where we weren't historically accurate. But otherwise, you could type it up, do a transcript, and put the book on Amazon.com and make it available. I'm sure the unofficial Pink Floyd history. Um, and we did talk about some day by day, right? We talked about like
Yeah.
in best fashion as we
It was
could.
a pretty. It was a pretty
It's close to two
extensive deep
hours. I
dive,
want to
and
say, was it? I think it was
yeah,
like 100 and maybe 100 minutes or so. So it's kind of long. Um, but I think that's it. I think that's it for us this week, Steve. So
yeah,
thank you. Sorry for the lag.
yeah.
We'll blame it on the all the people that are tuned in for the Minglewood State of the Union. So we'll be back next week, God willing, to talk more music. You guys got any requests, anything, any last minute suggestions for the show next week? And we can maybe explore that. My dad didn't beat me up. Hooray for
Well, that's
that.
good.
Hooray for that. No domestic abuse for older
Yeah,
radio
that's
this week.
that's that's a win.
Yeah.
That's a win.
Yeah. We
It's
were
all
we were
good. Well,
legitimately worried about you about 2 weeks ago. We were
yeah,
like,
we really were. We were like Mark and I. Mark were like, hey, "Are you cool? You need anything? You want to reach out to one of
yeah.
us?"
Yeah.
So
So, all right,
that's
guys.
good.
Well, thanks all for listening
Hey,
and watching, and we'll see you next time. So, take care.
sports truly.
Sports Truly, over and out. End the broadcast.